There's a certain thing that I have seen over the years in my clinic that I would like to emphasize, and it's quite a controversial topic for some. For me, I have learned it through experience, study, and also by talking to my clients. When we talk about obesity, about being fat, like really having too much body fat, and here I'm emphasizing women. And I'm doing it in a kind way, and I'm doing it in an understanding way. So this is definitely only to make you understand some very important factors. You see, when I talk to women, obviously I haven't done that, what I'm talking about here, and ask a woman, have you ever been in a situation, for example, a public locker room or something, and you have seen a woman who is like what we would call pretty, normal, like not especially big, not especially small, but she has a belly fat, not like a pot belly, but a big layer of fat potentially hanging down over her groin. And it can be very bad, right? I have met a number of people with that condition, and I have talked to even more who knows these things. We have talked about this extensively with many people. That condition, and I'm going to come back a little bit more to similar conditions. What I have seen, I cannot tell you the scientific background and all these things, but here are my experiences and what I have seen different things. What I see is that this is like a protective layer. You cannot just behave, eat less, lose weight, move more, go to gym, and then everybody will lose fat. It doesn't matter. If you use less calorie or take in less calories and move more, it will go away. Just pull yourself together. No, this one cannot. And that's my strong conviction. And I stand behind it with understanding and with respect and care for these poor people who suffer from that condition. The reason how I see it is when a woman have that, and I have been discussing with many, right? What happens? It builds up over time, after and during and after a period of immense stress, pressure, maybe even sexually abuse in adult women, or they are in a relationship where they really do not feel safe. So it's hormonal, it's cortisol based, and that fat is very stubborn. Most cases I have seen, they actually need to have it physically or surgical removed. You can do something, I know that. And I know some people will, and please comment on it, because I am still learning about this topic, which I care about with dignity. So what I see is that when they tell me how they have been through things in life, and in this case, now we come to what I said before, other things, it can affect bigger parts of the body, because I know some of my clients, and I have a very good idea about their calorie intake, how they eat, what they eat, and so on, how much they move, how much they work on a daily basis. And lately, I have seen, just coincidentally, I've seen a few of them. So what I see happening is that they grow, but it's a panzer, it's a protective layer the body's building up. So it comes from stress, it comes from feeling super bad, it comes from not feeling safe. And the safety issue is very strong. My understanding on why it is like that, is if you think about the chakra teachings from the India, the lower chakras relate to creativity, to family, and to finances, which of course also in that regard, especially as a nurturing or caring woman, relates to safety, right? Does she feel safe? Can she take care of her own, of her family, and so on? But if, for example, there's an abusive person, she's in a relationship with a very, very abusive man or whatever it is. It could also be another, like two women together where one is very abusive and the other is the victim of that. We have to respect that. So then the body develops a protective layer that's covering some of her most, as a woman, vital organs. Then what can also come is that the whole body starts to build up a protective layer and doesn't shed the toxins and the fat from other parts of the body. So I see actually women who works very hard, but nothing really is happening. What I also have seen through years with the same people working with them is that when we manage to downregulate the stress factors and the cortisol, hence the cortisol levels, when we manage to make them feel safety, taking the bad emotions out of past historical stressful events, then what we see, and now comes the good part, that they actually start losing weight. Same diet, same moving pattern, but now the body dares to relax and to release, to shed protective layers. Some of us, me and especially, if I am under pressure, if I am under stress, I comfort eat. That is a different thing. When I'm out of such a period, I start losing weight again because then I don't eat my favorite chocolate chip cookies, and I can eat a lot of them. I promise you, I'm no better than anyone. Some people eat other things, fine. Just we have to acknowledge what this is. And it's very important that we get this message out so we don't fat shame anyone. We want to respect people. Because if we can help together, we can help each other move on to live better. Everybody feels better in our surroundings, right? So when it comes to other things, when we talk about the stress behavior of the body, what we also see is that the fascia starts to tighten up in a protective position. Maybe a person had several traumas, someone have been violent against them. The fascia starts to protect, cramp you together in a protective position. That again, impedes the lymphatic system to clean out the debris of the body. Then you again are building up volume. You see also in many regards, and this is not purely emotional, how I see it, I could be wrong, that many women tend to have in their thighs, on the inner part of the thighs, stretching from the hip, outside of the hip towards into the groin, like a big base of very, very soft thigh fat, inner thigh fat. And it comes from front, and then it hangs like front, like in a V on the thighs. And many are like, oh, I hate this fat I have here. But when I then touch it and gently poke it, I find that it has a watery consistency. Meaning that that's not pure fat. That's water that haven't been cleansed out by the lymphatic system, because in our groin, on the inside of our thighs, we have a major hub of lymphatic nodes. And these nodes, if they cannot correctly pump up through the system up to the venous aorta into the heart, we cannot simply get rid of all that that fluid. Okay, movement, jumping, walking, running, and so on, of course it has a beneficial effect on that, I know, and I've seen it. But if it's from an impact, from physical trauma, then the fascia is in a protective state. And if you're not releasing that, how can the lymphatic system then work? Because the lymphatic system is not a pump that pumps like that. It's like if you take, let me show you, if you take a bottle, right, and you jump it up and down, if I didn't have the lid on, some drops would come out of it, right? That's how the lymphatic system works. When you bounce up and down, it goes up to the next level. And there's a one-way valve within the lymphatic duct. You bump up again, there's another one-way valve, so the water doesn't flow down, but it stays there. And then up, 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 comes up towards the heart, gets spilled over into the heart pumps it around, kidneys and the liver recycles what's needed and dispel what is toxic and waste. That's how the lymphatic system works. I know there's tons of more to it, but this is simplified. So think about this. When you see those poor people, don't judge them. You don't know their history. And I know there's many people who sit down, who eat too much and do too little. Those are not the people I'm addressing here. But why are they sitting down? Why are they not moving? What is their issues? So I'm just calling out for understanding and trying to give you some insights of what could be a potential cause. For some, it is the explanation they need. Maybe some of you said, I never understood why I had this. I'm not talking like not this pot belly, almost look pregnant, but this hanging layer in front of you. That's what I'm talking about. And then that's the stress, right? Think about these things. I have made so many observations about that. Also other things that I will talk about next time. But I would really emphasize that you look into this. Try to look it up yourself. Try to study it. If you have some questions, if you have some comments, I am really still learning about this subject because to be honest, I can never remember having anyone talk about this before. I could be super uninformed, I know. But obesity or extra fat layers in these areas of the body help me understand more, please.